Hello, my beautiful friends and fans. Today we're talking about something that has completely changed my life, and I'm so excited to bring it to you. This is the Kibbe Body Typing System. I've gone through quite a dramatic style transformation when it comes to my personal style. The keto diet was one of those parts of that transformation. But how I learned to actually dress for my body type was through studying the Kibbe Body Typing System. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. There are 13 different body types, and this is by far the most accurate and helpful body typing system I have ever found. I will be putting timestamps in the description box so that you can click ahead. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult at the beginning when you're learning something new, but I really want to encourage you to keep a positive, open mind. So let's get into it. And I actually have 3 tips for you at the end of the video. So please watch to the end, okay? So in the Kibbe Body Typing System, there are 5 main categories, which range from yin to yang, okay? So yin being the most feminine, rounded, softest side of the spectrum, all the way to yang, which means the more sharper features, broad shoulders, muscular, angular details. And in the middle is the classic, which is the perfect blend of the two. And then from there, the subcategories are going towards the more feminine rounded and towards the more masculine. Okay, so there's 13 total body types that we're going to cover today. If you're romantic, you are 5'5" or shorter. Your body type is very soft and voluptuous and hourglass with a small bone structure. Okay, your face is more delicate and smallish. The facial features are lush and full with sensual, rounded, luminous eyes, and your overall body structure is just soft, rounded, petite, and delicate. When you gain weight, your body as a whole just tends to get more rounded and you have a fuller face. If you're romantic, you don't have a boyish figure, you're not extremely tall, and you don't have a prominent nose or angular chin. The clothes that look the best on a romantic mirror the same characteristics. So they tend to be softer, lightweight, and more feminine types of fabric. Okay, silk, linen, thin cotton. And you always want to maintain your hourglass. You don't want to wear clothes that are too tight or too structured. And you should have some waist emphasis with a tapering and showing of your ankles. Patterns should be medium scale, rounded, ruffles and lace are nice details, and add just like sparkle and intricately draped neckline. You really want to avoid stiff geometric shape lines because your natural body does not have those characteristics and it will look separate from you. Let's move on next to the theatrical romantic. You are moving one step towards the yang, going towards more of the masculine features. So in this case, that means adding a little bit of sharpness to your features. So you're still petite, you're 5'5" and under, you're soft and voluptuous, yet you're trim and smallish with a curvy bust, small hips, and an hourglass figure. Your bone structure is small, delicate, and slightly sharp. You have full, luscious lips, soft cheeks, and lush bedroom eyes. When you gain weight, you are fuller overall with an hourglass figure. You do not have wide, large bones. You do not have large hands and feet. You do not have prominent facial bones. You do not have small, narrow eyes and lips. And you do not have a boyish figure. The clothes that look good for the theatrical romantic are similar to the romantic, but we're adding a little bit of sharpness to it. Focus on clothing that is feminine and dainty, but has a little bit of crispness in that fabric. You want to maintain your hourglass figure, and you want to kind of look at high-waisted pants and skirts and tucking in your shirt, also dresses that are fitted at the waist. You kind of have a glamorous look, so you want to wear clothing that kind of gives off that similar vibe. And so you want to avoid geometric, symmetrical, chunky, oversized straight lines or things that are really unconstructed. The dramatic is very, very angular. It's at the farthest spectrum of the yang. Someone who is 5'5" and higher, your body type is very straight and angular with long legs and arms and very narrow. Your bone structure is angular with sharp edges. You have square shoulders. You have almond eyes, thin or narrow straight lips, taut skin, and a very regal appearance. When you're overweight, you tend to gain it in your hips or upper thighs only. Dramatics do not have an hourglass shape. Do not have lush or full facial features. You're not broad or blunt bone structure. You're not petite, and you don't have short, fleshy arms. Materials that look good on you are leather, wool, stiff, well-tailored, high quality, anything that really holds its shape and is wrinkle-free. Your silhouette is angular, geometric, stripes with vertical lines, defined shoulders, long lines, tailored. And your fit is long and vertical. That fits the sleekness of your body. Your details should be clean and minimal, pointed and square. You really want to avoid rounded shapes, overly draped, oversized clothing, and things that are unconstructed. Now we have the soft dramatic. So that is taking the characteristics of the dramatic, but adding yin to it. So adding softness and femininity. The soft dramatic person is still actually pretty tall, 5'5" and above. Bone structure is larger. It's more angular. It still has that drama, but with softness. And you tend to have larger legs and feet. Your facial features are prominent and angular with full soft facial features. When you're overweight, you tend to gain your weight in the fleshiest part of your body, which could be your face, your bust, and your thighs. You don't have a boyish figure. You don't have a delicate bone structure, and you are not symmetrical. Materials that look really good on you are wool and suedes and crisp linen and velvet. Clothing that also has a draping and waist definition is very good, but you kind of want to add some stiffness to that fabric with an added femininity. You want to look for things that have long vertical lines. High-rise pants are really good. Rich jewel tones and large patterns tend to look really good. Your details should be bold and oversized, ornate, and large and rounded details. That's because you have a larger structure. You want to avoid anything that's too fitted, but you also don't want to go with anything that's too wide or shapeless. Next is a classic, and that's right in the middle. So it's a blend of the yin and the yang. So classics are moderate in every way. They're from 5'4" to 5'7". They have an aristocratic look, and the body type is very even. They have a defined waist, but it's not like an hourglass. Their bone structure is very symmetrical. So the hands, the feet, it's all very even. They're sort of chiseled, symmetrical, even spaced features on their face. When they're overweight, the body remains symmetrical, so they just tend to sort of like expand, gain weight everywhere. Classics are not extremely tall. They don't have a large bone structure. They don't have prominent or exotic facial features, and they don't have an hourglass or full lush features. So fabrics that are great are cashmere, light wool, cotton, clean materials, not too heavy or light. You don't want to have any wrinkles or fading on those clothes. Silhouette should be very clean and symmetrical. So like button down shirts or shirt dresses are really nice. Your patterns should be simple and classic. Like you could do polka dots or stripes or grid patterns. And you really just in general want to avoid anything too extreme, too angular, too soft, or too busy or too loose. Okay. Now, if we add some softness to the classic, that is the soft classic, and that is yours truly. I am a soft classic. So the height is moderate. It's 5'6". I am literally 5'6". And the body type is slightly rounded, which tends towards fleshiness and unevenly proportioned bust, waist, and hips. Bone structure is symmetrical with soft rounded edges, straight and slightly delicate, small and slightly wide, okay? Facial features, soft, full face with soft cheeks, large eyes, facial contours slightly small and wide. When overweight, your waist loses definition. I've lived that. And you have fleshy arms. If you are soft classic, you are not large, thank God, with angular bone structure. You do not have exotic, prominent facial features. You do not have an hourglass. You are not tall. You do not have a boyish figure, and you are not extremely petite. So materials that are great are lightweight fabrics, silk, cotton, cashmere. No wrinkles, no loose threads, no fading. You want to think of a silhouette that is soft and curved with rounded edges, okay? That's symmetrical with unbroken, clean lines, okay? Diagonal draping, some waist emphasis. And you want to think about fitting things at the ankle, the wrist, the waist, and keeping it very clean and tapered above the ankle. The details should be smooth and rounded, ruffles and delicate, and you should avoid hard-edged geometric silhouettes or overly intricate patterns. So if we want to add a little bit of masculinity, a little bit of sharpness to the soft classic, now we're going to the dramatic classic, okay? This is someone who has moderate height of 5'7", and their body is trim and compact with slightly muscularity, okay? So they're going to have average length arms and legs. Their bone structure is still symmetrical, but they have angular edges, okay? Straight and slightly wide body, tapered shoulders, and when they're overweight, They tend to gain their weight in their hips or their thighs, making them appear more pear-shaped. If you're dramatic classic, you don't have long limbs, you do not have exotic facial features, you do not have large bones or hands, you do not have delicate bones, and you don't have an hourglass or a boyish figure. Moderate to stiff inspired clothing like menswear would be great, but add a little bit of femininity. Your silhouette that looks really the best on you is trim and tailored and slightly chunky. Square necklines look really great. The clean, symmetrical fit is very good for you. And you can handle rich, dark colors, neutrals, solids, and minimal patterns, okay? Details should be symmetrical with simple details and with some sharpness and medium-sized prints. You want to avoid fussy, frilly details, avoid minimal detail or too boxy. So the naturals, again, moving towards that more masculine yang perspective. And this is someone who's moderately tall, up to 5'8". Their body type is straight, muscular, with lean and flat hips, okay? And they have a slightly flat bust line as well, slightly long arms and legs, possibly long-waisted. Their bone structure is pretty straight, okay? And they have slightly angular blunt edges and slight squarish shoulders. The facial features are slightly broad and blunt, with irregular, moderate to small eyes, taut cheeks, slightly thin lips, blunt, angular facial contours. When you're overweight, your body does still remain straight, but it broadens at the midsections. Naturals do not have hourglass shapes. They're not extremely petite or small, and they don't have a boyish thin figure with a lack of muscles, okay? You want to stick with clothing that is made from natural materials like chunky knits, denim, fur, linen, chambray. You want to have a silhouette that's relaxed, yet has straight lines, that's layered and oversized. The fit is loose and free-flowing. It's draped and it's hanging off the body. I feel that Free People and Anthropology are actually two really good brands that work with the natural. Florals look really great on you. Animal prints look really good on you. And asymmetry looks good on you because there's an asymmetry in your body structure of having more of the broadness on the top and then the narrowness on the bottom. And your details can be large scale. You want to avoid anything too structured, sharp, or overly frilly or delicate. Now, if we add some softness, some of the yin to the natural, we're going to bring in that more femininity, okay? So if you're soft natural, you're up to 5'7". Your bone structure is slightly angular bones with square or broad shoulders, but with a soft fleshiness about you, okay? You're going to have a slightly small waist in proportion to your bust, but your facial features have full and rounded details, eyes, lips, and cheeks, and a small, slightly wide nose. There's irregular facial contours. There's angular and there's rounded in there. When you're overweight, you tend to be thick at the waist, soft and fleshy with upper arms, thighs, and hips, okay? Soft naturals do not have a straight body. They are not extremely tall. They do not have extremely sharp features, and they're not symmetrical. So if you're a soft natural, you just want to add a little bit of softness to those clothes. So you can still use natural materials, but you want to do a little bit of lighter weight fabrics. Chunky knits, chambray, linen, cotton, crochet lace, and suede are still good. Loosely defined necklines, full flowing sleeves. The fit should be feminine but loose with long lines and some waist emphasis as well. And prints look really great on you. Natural animal prints, floral, botanical prints. Details should be rounded and large, natural details. And you just want to avoid sharp geometrics, wide, boxy shapes. You're not wide. And traditionally tailored suits. Okay, so if you're a flamboyant natural, congratulations, because your body type is like almost all the supermodels. So these ladies are very tall, up to 5'11". And the body type is very straight, angular, broad, and muscular. Their bone structure is large, actually. It's angular and it's blunt with wide shoulders. They have large hands and feet, long arms and legs, and their facial features are broad, blunt, and open eyes that are very large and open or straight and small taut cheeks with straight, slightly thin and straight lips. When they're overweight, they tend to get square and stocky. Naturals do not have an hourglass figure. They don't have delicate facial features. They're not petite. They're not sharp or narrow bone structure. If you're a flamboyant natural, you can pretty much get away with wearing anything. And Sarah Jessica Parker is a flamboyant natural, and that's probably why she's so fun to dress for that show. But the clothing that you should really be going for are, again, those natural materials that I mentioned before with the cotton, denim, linen, suede, fur, wool, large chunky knits with a lot of texture they can handle. And the silhouette is just wild. It's unstructured, long, large, and relaxed. They can get away with wide leg pants and long coats and cardigans. They can handle rich, bright colors, strong neutral colors, wild patterns, large and continuous patterns. And the details that look good on them are actually plain and simple. So oversized things, exotic earrings, huge cuffs, and chunky jewelry. But in general, they should really avoid the stiff tailoring and severe lines and color blocking, actually. So now let's go into the gamines, okay? So the gamines are 5'5" and under, and their body type is really straight, and they have a very youthful, energetic look of them, and it's like a strong mix of both yin and yang. They tend to be very angular, sharp, and narrow in their bone structure, long arms and legs with small hands and feet. Facial features are very delicate and sharp, and they have large eyes, moderate to thin lips, narrow, straight, taut cheeks. They usually gain their weight in their hip and their waist areas. If you're a gamine, you are not going to be over 5'5". You will not have a large bone structure. You do not have exotic facial features. You don't have an hourglass. You don't have full lush features, and you're not symmetrical. So you want to think about mixing your fabrics with stiff things with looser fabrics, okay? And the silhouette's going to be short and fitted and slightly sharp. You want high-waisted pants that end above the ankle. You want blazers and jackets and pants that taper. High necklines look really good mixed with a shorter hemline. Because of that contrast, you look really good with color blocking. Actually look really good in busy animated patterns and prints. Your details should be small, fun, and delicate. Thin buttons, thin belts, small pleats, and collars. You want to avoid oversized, long, large, geometric prints or anything that's overly soft and flowing or unconstructed. So now if we add a little bit of softness to the gamine, we get the soft gamine. These are very, very petite people. They're under 5'2", and their body type is more soft and curvy with some waist definition, but they still have that really delicate and small body type, yet a slightly more broad and angular elements of that. Facial features are more delicate, but they have a broader face. When overweight, they tend to get more rounded in their bust, more flesh on the hips and face, and just can feel sometimes overweight when they're actually not. Soft gamines do not have long limbs. They don't have exotic facial features, and they don't have an hourglass figure, but they don't have a boyish figure either. You will look really good in a crisp, curved silhouette with rounded edges, but yet still has a sharply tailored outline of that outfit. And you want to think about small lines with crisp edges and fitted, feminine, and small. The high necklines, you should still show a bit of ankle, waist definition that's leaning towards or feminine. And you want to think about fitting everything at your wrist, ankle, knee, waist, collar, shoulder, elbow, wrist. Details should be small, feminine patterns and prints, polka dots, flowers, articulated gathers, ruffles, pleats, and belts. You want to, in general, avoid sharp geometrics, oversized, strong horizontal lines are too minimal. You need that detailing. Okay, and the last one is the flamboyant gamine. So this is someone who's 5'6" and under. Your bone structure is broad, angular, with square shoulders, large hands, and feet in proportion to your height. Your body type is more muscular, it's more lean, and it's stronger, straighter lines with a flat bust and more leggy. Your facial features are slightly sharp, but still broad, with extremely large eyes and long facial shape. When you're overweight, you tend to look more stocky and squarish from the waist down. Flamboyant gamines do not have delicate bone structure, hourglass symmetrical, or exotic facial features, except for large eyes. They still have that youthful, energetic look. They're almost like dramatics, but they're smaller than them. You want to think about mixing the stiff and softer fabric, but go more towards the stiff side. Your silhouette should be a mixture of opposite shapes, okay? So narrow base and then a wider shape on top. And the fit should be tomboyish, fitted, and cropped. Crop jackets and blazers with skinny cigarette or straight leg pants. You can color block one or two of the more colors. And you can do it with rich, dark colors, wild prints, patterns, and geometrics. And you just want to avoid anything ornate, overly delicate, or draped, and minimal. So those are the 13 different body types. And if that is overwhelming to you, I have 3 tips on how you can really master your Kibbe body type style. The first tip I have for you is I want you to go into your closet and I want you to pull out all the clothes that you consistently wear a lot. You can either pull out your favorites or you could do each category. So for instance, for me, I pulled out all of the shoes that I owned and I separated them between the shoes that I always wore and the shoes that I never wore. And I very quickly noticed that everything I wore all the time had rounded toes on my shoes, and all of my like pointy toed shoes never actually got worn. And as a soft classic, I'm supposed to do more rounded details. So you can actually learn a lot about the clothes that you should be wearing based on the things that you consistently pull for and feel very comfortable with. When you wear clothes, you are supposed to notice the person wearing them. You're not supposed to notice the actual garment. And so I don't know if you've ever seen someone walking down the street, you really notice their outfit before you saw them. It's very likely that they were not wearing the clothing that was truly appropriate for them, because your clothes are not supposed to wear you. You're supposed to wear your clothes. So if you notice your garment first, then it means it's probably separate from you. That could be the shape, the silhouette, the print might be too big or too small, etc. And then the last tip is actually following the celebrities that have the body type that you might think you have, just because celebrities are photographed in so many different outfits. So with the soft classic, there are several celebrities that are always kind of shown as the example for that body typing. So I like to kind of just study when they look their best, as opposed to wearing things that are very much outside of the style, as a way to sort of give me inspiration or know the things that I should be either focusing on or avoiding in that body type. I hope this video was helpful for you. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming. So again, please check in the description box below for another recommended YouTube video I have for you here, along with the Kibbe Body Type style quiz. That can be very helpful to you. If you know what your Kibbe Body Type is, leave it in the comments below. Like I said, I am soft classic, and I think I'm gonna do a part 2 of this video. I wanna go to TJ Maxx and I wanna try on outfits for you wearing my Kibbe Body Type, and then I'm going to show you garments that are not in my Kibbe Body Type, so that you can see how amazing this body typing system is, because I guarantee you're going to see the difference when I give you those examples. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.